Hello and welcome to this edition of Woman to Woman. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. I am the voice for those who suffer in silence. Guys, today's Woman to Woman, I just wanted to share with you some of the lessons that life has taught me. Some lessons that life has taught me, and I know that if I've learned some of the lessons throughout the course of life, I know that some of you guys have learned these lessons as well. And so I just wanted to take the time out to share some of these things with you. For those that don't know, I've just completed and released my new book, Press Through. And that book journals some of the things that I have faced throughout the year of 2020. 2020 has been rough for many of us, but nonetheless, one of the things that 2020 taught me is that we were not counted out. We were not counted out. What many of us have done, however, is throw in the towel. We've thrown in the towel. We've not only given up on life, we've given up on ourselves. And so 2020 taught me to fight. 2020 taught me how to fight. It taught me better ways to resolve issues. It also taught me that there's nothing in life that can come against us so hard that it's completely going to take us out. Now, we can choose to, like I said, throw in the towel or give up and not fight. But I've grown to have that mentality that even if it knocks me down, I'm getting back up and I'm getting back into the game. And so I know that many of you women that are listening today or that are watching, for those that are watching, you've learned some lessons. You've learned some life lessons that have been instrumental into keeping you grounded for days like we are having here in our lives. So that is my life lesson that I have learned, that it has been most instrumental to me and keeping me grounded, is that life did not come to destroy me. It came to build character and grit in me. And so I've learned how to fight. I've learned how to solve problems. I learned how to use my creativity to keep me standing, even when the things come against me that is so hard that I want to throw in the towel. Sometimes I don't feel like going on. And I know you guys have had those days to where uh, you don't feel like going another minute. You don't know if you're going to make it throughout the day, but it's just understanding that nothing is coming against you so bad that it's going to force you to throw in the towel. You choose to do that. You choose to throw in the towel. You choose to give up on that business. You choose to give up on that child. You choose to give in to those financial impulses and urges. You choose to do that. And so it takes shifting your mindset and understanding that the things that you've learned up into this point, the lessons you've learned, the challenges that you faced have come to develop something in you. And so I've realized that I'm not out yet. I'm still in the game, and sometimes I'm only hanging on by just a little bit, hanging on by what I know, hanging on by a few dollars in my pocket, hanging on by just appreciating that child made it home safe, appreciating that I still have a roof over my head, appreciating that the lights are still on, appreciating that if I can't do nothing else, that I can still write a book, that I can still come in and encourage somebody and help them, just give them a little something to make it through the day. It's about understanding the importance and the value that we bring to this world, the importance of the value that we bring to one another. And so many lessons that I've learned, all to understand that every step I take, every success that I have, every um, opposition that I come up against is all impacted by the decisions that I make. The decisions of whether I'm going to throw in the towel and take what's coming at me, or whether I'm going to allow my creativity to flow and to get in and fight. And so I've learned how to fight, guys. I have learned how to fight. I have learned that um, even those that are closest to me, that seem like I can't get the support or the encouragement that I need from those closest to me, I learned that sometimes it's something that I have to find within myself. I know that many of you that are listening or watching, you feel like um, you're trying it, that you've given all that you have. But do you know that even when you feel like you're at your end, even when it feels like you've given your best, you still have untapped potential within you? Life has taught me that. There has been times to where I didn't want to get out of bed. There have been times over the last few weeks that I didn't even want to think. I wanted to turn my brain off. I wanted to find a place to where I could just sit in whatever it is. I didn't want to think of what could happen, or the possibilities of things changing for the worse. There are times that I wanted to check out, but then I really realized that, you know, I can't give up. I can't allow myself to be satisfied with thinking that I've done all that I can do, or that I've gone as far as I can go, and count myself out. Because when I get to that point, there's no more hope. There's no more hope in giving up on me. The only hope I have is knowing that if it is a problem, if it's a challenge, if it's a situation that I face in life, that there has to be a solution. And I'm going to stay in the game until that solution comes to me. That's how important it is to know and understand the lessons that life is trying to teach us. Now we're now at the point to where we're trying to make it uh, through the holiday season, and we're trying to hold on um, to the new year comes. What happens when the new year gets here and it's no different than any days that we've had the last 360 some 65 days of the year? What then? Have you thought about what you've learned up to this point? Have you looked back and just taken a glance at what you've been able to overcome these last 365 days? Have you looked at the progress that you made? Have you looked at the things that you've been able to birth? Have you looked at the opportunities that, in spite of it all, that has still came your way? Have you looked at the relationships that have been restored? There's lessons to be learned through all of that. And one of the things that I've learned is to appreciate the people that are in my life. Appreciate um, regardless of what those relationships look like, regardless of the challenges that the people that I love or faced with, to appreciate them just being in my life, appreciate when they show up, appreciate their efforts that they put in from day to day to just get up and face another day, because it's not easy. It's not easy for any of us. It's not easy for me, and I feel like that I'm mature in this thing, and I feel like that I'm disciplined and focused enough in my life. But even still, when life happens, it can be challenging, even for the most mature and disciplined person, even for those people who are focused on their dreams. So imagine what it's like for our children. Imagine what it's like for that young mom who's raising uh, 3 or 4 kids on her own and trying to um, establish a legacy for a family. Imagine the effort, imagine the strength, imagine what it takes each day for her to get up and put one foot in front of the other just to make it happen. And so we don't want to minimize the lessons that we've learned throughout the course of a year. We don't want to minimize the lessons that we've learned in uh, restoring those relationships in our life. We don't want to minimize those lessons, but we want to take that and we want to um, focus and really understand what it is that it has done for us in our lives, because we're going to need it for the next 365 days. Yes, there's things that are beyond our control. Yes, the numbers are going up. Yes, you know, things we get this unexpected um, diagnosis and these unexpected numbers and these unexpected uh, not knowing kind of news. And it's easy to check out. It's easy to say what's to use. It's easy to give up on our businesses. But do you know that our businesses were given to us by our Creator to help provide those things that we need for our life? It helps put the pieces of our lives together. And so, even though my business may struggle, even though I may struggle getting up from day to day and appreciating uh, the things that I have in my life and the people that I have in my life and appreciating all the gifts and talents that I have in me, there's still so much that I need to learn. There's still so much that I'm not willing to compromise on. There's still so much that I have to sacrifice. There's still so many life lessons that I need to learn. And when I learn that, it gives me just a little more strength to just press through and make it through the day. Make it through the day. Make it through the day, even when it seems hopeless, or even when I feel like what's the use. So, woman to woman, think about the lessons that life has taught you. Think about the sacrifices that you've been willing to make. Think about those things that you have not been willing to compromise on. Focus on that and understand that those lessons that you have learned for a reason. You're still standing for a reason. And that reason is that you're going to need that for the next 365 days. You're going to need that moving forward. You're going to need those restored relationships. You're going to need those um, finances, that financial relationship. You're going to need those coworkers. You're going to need those kids. You're going to need those family members. You're going to need those lessons that you've learned to make it. We need one another now more than anything. And it's not about uh, getting ahead at the expense of putting somebody else down. It's not about um, being so nonchalant in our business that if it works, it works, and if it don't, it don't. We really have to get in the game and fight. We have to fight for the things that are important to us. Life is not coming at you to count you out. It's coming at you to develop what you need to make it for what lies ahead. And let's face it, life is going to come at us. It's going to continue to come at us, and we have choices to make. And if we've learned the lessons, if we've applied those things that we learned, we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. So one decision at a time, one day at a time, um, one hope at a time. Because let's face it, sometimes hope is all we had to uh, get up out of bed and put one foot in front of the other. Let's take the lessons that we learn, apply it so that it can sustain us for the next 365 days ahead. You are listening to Woman to Woman. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, author, educator, and public speaker. Until next time,